Hello Flosstube, long time no see. Well, I've been watching you, you haven't seen me. Anyway, my name's Dawn, this is my channel, Mr.XStitch. So welcome back to old subscribers, hello to new subscribers. I've lost a few, so maybe I've also gained a few, I don't know. I've been gone for a long time. Yeah, my watch list of Flosstube has grown out of dimension, so lots of people I'm subscribed to I can't watch because there's not enough time in a day. I also want to stitch, I also want to watch TV, I also want to do other stuff. So I'm trying my best to keep at least up to date with my friends, my Flosstube friends, and I'm very happy to see that Amanda Stitcher has her own channel, so I see her on a regular basis. And yeah, I'm trying really hard to keep up with my Facebook friends, for Flosstube friends, sorry, and we'll just see how many I can watch and what I can't watch. It's just not enough hours in a day. Just so you know, I've got a list. Also, I will not go, hang on, turn mobile phone off. As you can imagine, it's been 1.5 years. I will not show all my purchases. I can't. I also cannot show all the cards, the presents, the gifts. I even won 1 or 2 things in competitions on Flosstube. It's just too much. So yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody who has, you know, commented on a Flosstube that they miss me, have sent me a card, have sent me some stitchy kindness, have mentioned me, have, yeah, sent me stuff, included stuff in the packages when they sent me something from the shop, people who have shops, Christmas presents. I got even some birthday presents, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And you all know who you are. I can't mention everybody, like I said, it's been 1.5 years. I posted everything on Instagram and thanked the people, so they know that whatever they have sent me has arrived, and you can see it on Instagram. I guess that at the moment has to do, and I'm really sorry that I can't mention every person by their name, otherwise I would be sitting here for a few hours. Yeah, a bit of life update, just sort of to begin with. I still don't have a job. I was forced to get a job coach from the disability office, and they don't know what I do. They don't know that there are different software developers. There are also hardware developers. There are different IT jobs. And I'm in a specialized field, but I can do a lot more. I am not a supporter. I'm having the same discussions with the same people, with different people, and even though they are looking for people like me in Switzerland, desperately looking for people like me, somehow we cannot connect. The coach I've got has no idea how to connect to the IT world. I've been out of the IT world for too long to have friends who could, you know, just say, hey, by the way, I know this person, she's really good, get her to work for us. Anyway, yeah, so you can imagine that I was actually doing really well. The first 2 months of 2020, I was having job interview after job interview, most of them on the phone. I started having them on Skype, Zoom, and then COVID hit. And then normal recruiting doesn't work. So anyway, let's leave that. I had my first vaccine. I've got the Moderna. I had it last week, Thursday. I can't remember, I'm sorry. I was so nervous. I was a needle phobe nearly all my life, until about 5 years ago or something. And these needles are long. And in Basel, we're the only canton that has only one place where you can go and get the vaccine. And it's a massive place. It's like, you know, being an agoraphobe, I don't like huge places. So, not knowing, and I know the building but only upstairs, not downstairs, I was getting myself worked up before going. So the day before, when my brother who was younger than me could go the day before me, I was so nervous that day. I dropped stuff. It was awful. But then on the day because Marcel had been, and he told me everything that I needed to know, where we're going, what it's like, and he said they're all so friendly. So with his help, I could actually go and I could get the vaccine. I had side effects, the normal, you know, my arm hurts, but at the moment I've got a slightly elevated temperature and I'm extremely tired, like really worn out, bone tired. It's a side effect. It should go away in 2 weeks. I don't know what's going to happen after the second vaccine, because apparently women are prone to have more side effects. We'll see. We'll see. Won't worry about that now. But I've got my first jab, and I wanted my first vaccine before the European Cup. Football. Yes, I know Americans call it soccer, it's football. The American Football Cup is going to start on the 11th of June and goes until the 11th of July. It should have happened last year. It didn't. So I've been waiting for a year to go public viewing, and it's in 11 different cities in 11 different countries during a pandemic, which is pissing me off big time. Also, public viewing at the moment in Switzerland, they've opened restaurants inside, which was closed for a very, very long time. They've opened restaurants inside, 4 people on one table, tables separated. Now, if I want to go in public view, the place I usually go, they have a huge indoor place with 2 screens. I have to reserve a place, and I have to reserve a table of 4. I'm one person. I don't want to sit with others. I don't. I prefer to stand. And I have to pay 5 francs entrance. 5 francs is not a lot, but at the beginning, 3 games in one day, that's already 15 francs. And I haven't actually had a drink or anything to eat or whatever, because I also do that because I support the place. Other places are asking for 7 francs. I'm not working. I don't have money. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm already starting. Where can I see how much I've... Oh yeah, 8 minutes. I'm really sorry. I'm already going off on... That's not what I wanted to do. It's just that Hans Peter said it really well. He said, this is the first football event I am so not looking forward to. And I must say that it's pretty much the same. Because I mean, the very first game is going to be in Rome, Italy, because it's going to be Italy against Turkey. Now, Italy, is it Italy, Turkey? I can't remember. It's Italy in the first game. Italy is in the same group as Switzerland and Wales. Switzerland is going to play against Wales in Baku, which is Azerbaijan. And they have to switch, you know, from Baku, Azerbaijan to Rome and back. So, there's also games in Glasgow, London, Spain, Munich, Germany, St. Petersburg, I don't know, 11 cities, 11 countries, and the teams are flying all over the place. We've had skies with no airplanes for a year. Like the odd airplane, oh my god, airplane, you know. And now they're flying. It's a nightmare and I'm already so annoyed by it. But I've got my first jab, so I'll be more safe. I'll be wearing a mask, I'll be social distancing. I want to go and watch those games because watching at home is not an option. If you want to know why, you can ask me. Okay, I'm just going to go on with number 6. I've joined a knitting group. I'm not knitting. I'm also not crocheting. People who join this group, they knit and they crochet. I heard about this group. It's not directly near me, but it's further out. It used to be a really exceptionally good restaurant in my price range. When I used to work, it was fantastic. I loved it. Well, anyway, it's now something completely different. They've built a whole district around it, but they do offer knitting group. Well, it's knitting crochet. And I basically said, you know, can I come along? Even though I don't knit or crochet, can I cross stitch? And I said, the more the merrier, come along. So I took one of my pieces, it's finally finished, but I started this in February 2020. And then COVID hit. And then we could go again, then we couldn't, then we could, then we couldn't. Now we can. Now they've opened a stitchy group, but it's not a cross stitch group, it's a stitchy group. So you have embroidery, all sorts of stuff, but at the moment it's only 3 of us, and most of the time it's only 1 of us, so it's not really happening. But at least I've joined, so that's good. Good. Unfortunately, during this whole COVID situation and everything, you know, I've already told you how expensive floss is in Switzerland or in Europe general. It's France is like sort of, you know, France is sort of there. Germany is there. Switzerland is there. Okay. Now going sort of in that direction, it's I would say about 45 minutes. If you're a slow driver by car, to Mulhouse, French, Alsace. Mulhouse is where DMC headquarters are. DMC gets made there. There is no factory shop. There is no, I have to order my DMC in America because everywhere else it's too expensive. And now with the UK and Brexit, yeah, no, goodbye. So I have floss fairies in the US. So in, I think it must have been January or February 2020, I put this list together to kit up 4 projects. DMC, just DMC. Nothing special, and I just said, like, you know, whenever next time you go to Michael's, Joann's, wherever you go, and have one of these doorbuster sales, could you just get me like these floss? And I pay for it and I pay for shipping. She said, yeah, okay, not a problem. Well, COVID hit, so she didn't go. She bought those flosses when she went to an LNS or somewhere. She also got them from 123Stitch, and I then kitted up a few more projects. But 123Stitch does not send DMC outside of the US and Canada. So now I can't order my DMC at 123Stitch. If I order it somewhere else, you don't have the full DMC range. Now, iStitch hates, as you know, or other full coverage. I need DMC. It's easier for me to get fancy floss than DMC. So I was ordering DMC and sending it to my floss fairy and another floss fairy, and one of my floss fairies, she had to stay home, she had to isolate, so I received a package full of floss this year, 2 months ago I think. Oh my god, it was just like this bundle of floss. It was just, oh my god, how lovely is this? You know, just a package full of DMC. I would have loved to, you know, like they do in the Hollywood films, put the floss over my bed and swim in it. It would have been fantastic, but I didn't, because, you know, DMC, I can't get DMC that easily, so, you know. And then of course I found out I have 17 whips. 17 whips. Okay, that doesn't work. My stress levels are, nope, can't do it. So I basically just push it out of my head, gone, ignore. I have the whips that I'm going to show you here, and otherwise I know of nothing. Even styles that I'm doing, nope. I mean, and I've lost one of my whips, because I actually sorted most of my floss tube, most of my cross stitch stuff. I've sorted everything that is a whip, a kitted up project, into a huge box. I've got other boxes, so I've sorted that. The only things that I now need to sort is floss, and that's a bit of an issue, but I've actually done that, because I still have a moth problem, so everything that's dusty needs to be sorted, so that's done. During all of that, I knew that Amanda had talked about Sue Hillis's range of pirates. There are lots of pirate, the sort of, I did the candy cane peg leg Santa, and that's one of them. There is also a snowman in that series, and it's called Shiver Me Timbers. And Ingeborg stitched it, and because I loved that project, and she knew that, she sent it to me Christmas a few years ago. And I started it for Mania, I think in 2018. And I know I started it because I have proof on my phone. I have proof in my book, because I do stitch from stash, so I just write down, you know, when I started a project, when I finished a project, and then my stitch from stash project. I know I started it, and I know it's in a see-through envelope. I'm not sure, I think it's in a white one. I'm pretty sure it's in a white one. I have white and sort of see-through white and blue. It's not here. I went through everything. It's not here, and I know that I never took it out of the house. Never. I've lost a whip. And one that's important to me, because I thought, yay, I can get this out. I can stitch on this. This is what I want to stitch on, and I can't find it. Anyway, so just that you know, if you have friends, Flosstube friends, Facebook friends, Instagram friends that are cross stitchers, and you're in the US or Canada, and you know that they're somewhere in Europe. I'm now talking about Europe because that's what I know. I don't know about the other countries. I know other countries have other problems, issues, whatever. But if you have cross-stitch friends that are in Europe and you're in the US, and it's possible for you to buy floss, and I'm not talking now about during the pandemic and while you still have to wear masks and shops are still closed and whatever, but just think of us and place the offer that if somebody needs a floss fairy, hit me up, send me a list of the DMC colours that you need. When I next time go shopping in a Joann's, in a Michael's, or even if I have to order it from 123stitch, or they can order it, I'll happily order from 123stitch, send it to somebody in the US, and if you then can send it on to me, then I've paid for everything, and I pay you shipping through PayPal, so you have no cost. You just have to repackage it, put my address on it, send it off, and I'll be ever so grateful. And I'm pretty sure there are other people in Switzerland, in Germany, in Italy, in France, in Belgium, in the Netherlands, wherever, that would really appreciate DMC through a floss body, a floss fairy, putting it out there. yeah, you might have seen, even though I was gone for 1.5 years, I did a peacock and fig special floss tube for this pattern. Sun is coming out. I finished this more or less with not today 2020, not today. There is actually the whole sort of with lots of leaves and flowers going around it, that at this time when I was stitching this I didn't do, because there's lots of back stitch in it, and these colours are so lovely. These are gorgeous colours. So I finished this. This is Lord Flap-A-Lot by Peacock and Fig, and you can hear all about this in my Flosstube special. I think I did that about half a year ago. But I finished him, and yeah, my stitchy bug went walkabout. So I didn't do nothing around it. But as it's not finished yet, so I can still do that. I don't know yet, because this fits better into my home decor than it does when I do the whole thing around it. But check that out. It's called Flosstube Special. I have a playlist on my channel with my floss tubes in it, so you can go and see it there. And all the mess around me here, just that you know, I get to these. This is a project bag by Vicky, Stitch and Button. I put this up. You can't really see it. It's sort of faded a bit because the sun decided to come out. I don't have a ring light, so just bear with me. Anyway, so I bought two from her that were sort of Christmassy, wintry, and I put them up like this in the kitchen until Christmas cards started coming in, so that I had something to look at. This one came from Chelsea Olesh. I won something on her channel, a pattern, 2 patterns, I think, and she sent this with it, and a beautiful, gorgeous needle minder. And this is a floss body flip. On the other side there's the floss for my Mirabilia. And that's just a finished, I showed that, I'm pretty sure I showed that. Here you just can see that it's framed. Yeah. I don't know if you, wrong side. I don't know if I've showed you this one yet, but this is from Misty Porcel, Luminous Fiber Arts. She did this, yeah, right way up. It's got, I did the buttons on it. This is sort of bird. Is this right way up? That's not right way up. This is right way up. Oh my god. Yeah. Anyway, as you can see, my framing, I didn't lace it or anything. I just put it in there so that I could display it. And this was to help somebody in her family. And I think it still is. But she enjoyed designing this. I loved stitching this. I actually was going to stitch it for my mum because my mum loves birds. But I love birds and I love strawberries, so I kept that one. And then she came out with this, which is the next one. Now I finished this, and as you can see, it's monochromatic, the same thing. I also put in the buttons, and this is going to be for my mum for her birthday, so don't tell her. And Misty said that there's a third one in this series coming out. I've just watched her floss tube today. It's not out yet. She has 2 designs that I quite like now, but I'm waiting for the third one. So anyway, that's my show and tell at the moment. Wait, where was I? Okay, that was the Peacock and Fig. Like I said, if you want to know more about this, my floss tube special, you'll find more about that. Yeah, so it says show whips. Okay, like I said, I have 17 whips. Okay, I finished 2 in the last few days. So I don't know how many it is now, and I don't want to know. It's like, no. Okay. Yeah, okay, I'll start with this one first. Sarah's Stitching Mummy. She started this for her birthday in September, and I've also got a September birthday. And she told in one of her Flosstubes that she wanted to stitch this for her birthday start at the beginning of September. My birthday is more sort of middle end of September, and I said I would start mine with her for her birthday. And she said, well, she can sort of maybe fit in a day on my birthday, and I said I probably won't be stitching on my birthday because my stitching bug wasn't really here. And it would be fine if we just started together and then stitch like 2 or 3 days on it, and that's what we did. And I actually enjoyed it, but I didn't have the floss. My floss was with my floss fairy in the US, so I could just start on these things up to here, you know, these just the ones going up over here. That's about all I could do in the black, because I have a cone of black. But this, I have the water lilies and stuff, but couldn't do the dress. Now I have the floss, and Stitching Mummy did Mirabilia May, and I asked her, you know, which days are you going to be working on this? So I worked on the same 3 days as she did on this. I didn't do Mania anything. So it was just, I stitched on this when she stitched on it. And I was a bit disappointed by the amount that I didn't get done, or did get done, whatever. This is what it looks like now. Can I see what I'm showing? More or less. Okay. So I had these top things done, but they're not finished because I was missing a colour. And then I started in on her hair and did the black and the sort of purple lilac-y shades in, I think it's 4 or 5 different shades in there. And that took me 3 days. I don't know what my problem is on this. The pattern is a Mirabilia pattern. There are no beads yet. There's no cry neck, there's no nothing, but somehow it's more confetti than it usually is for a Mirabilia, or maybe it's just me. And this is the first time that I'm actually working on hand-dyed fabric by I think this is by Chromatic Alchemy. Got it written down. I'll probably tell you next time. So I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. But I also have a feeling that when I start sort of, you know, getting these bits all together and get the hair done and then start on the lady, that I have more fun. So I'm still it's still there. It's just I was slightly put off somehow. I was working and working and working and just didn't get anywhere. So that was, yeah, I don't know, just felt a bit odd, a bit wrong. Yeah, it felt a bit odd. But then stitching is stitching, and it was only 3 days. I think, yeah, 3 days. And then I sent her a picture so that she could see, because I wasn't doing Flosstube. So that was good. Something else that yeah, you see, that's my start. Oh, I can actually see there's an A and a 1 and a B and a 2 coming. Yeah, couldn't see that before. I'm sorry. This is what I'm stitching. These are these Prairie Schooler limited editions. This is now the 3rd one that I'm doing, because I got from Betty Hewlin, I got one of these, and I think it was the 2009 limited edition one, and she had given me the linen and all the threads that I needed. So I stitched the first one on linen. Now, people who've been with me for longer know that I don't like linen, and now I also don't like even weave. Okay, different discussion. So I've decided all of these are going to go on linen in honor of Betty Hewlin, because she's the one who started me on these linen, and over 2 I can manage. It just takes a bit more getting used to. I'm going to change out a few of the colours, and I'm selling this with Shelley. I think she's doing the white in here and I'm doing the black outside, something like that. We started selling this about 3 months ago, and we're about the same progress. So, you know, it goes as it goes. I mean, what do you want to say? It's cross stitch. As I had a finish by Shakespeare's Peddler, there are these antique locks and keys, antique cups and spoons, and the last one is scissors and spools. I know there are other ones, but bunnies and baskets don't go together for me, because that only works on Easter, and these I want them out all year. And the other one is, I think, birds and cages. No go. I know the birds are not in the cages, but no, can't do it. So I have these 3, and I've just started this one yesterday. It's teacups and spoons, and I'm doing it, you can't really see, but I've only just started that yesterday, so that's okay. But I'm using this side key. Now, I'll talk about this in a moment, about the side key thread. And then my last whip that I'm going to talk about is this. Yes, as you can see, that's my Hade camera focus. Anyway, this is how far I am now. There is a lot of this is just off-white. I'm doing it on, I don't know if you can see this very well. I'm doing it on my cream Ada. Now, what happened was that I really wanted to start this on 25 count even weave Lugana that I had bought years ago when I wanted to start my first Hade. I've started my first Hade, the cross, on 18 count. I've started the other full coverages on 18 count, and because I bought the mini, I wanted to do it on 25 count so that it would be maybe, you know, not so pixelated. But doing the full cross over 1, oh my god, I was hating it. It was just hate. So I would put it down and I didn't want to pick it up. And it's such a great picture. And Sarah's stitching mummy, and I've had lots of comments on Facebook of people who said, I've got a pattern, I'm going to stitch it, or I've started this, or, you know, and gave me tips about how to do the book spines and stuff. And now I'm doing it on 18 count, and it was so worth ripping out what I had started and doing it on 18 count because I'm enjoying it. I mean, I've done all this and I only started a few months ago. And yes, I own a tablet. As you can, sorry. Done with the Cricut by Vicky, and got this from Shelley, Mr.XStitch. So I've got a tablet with Pattern Keeper on it. Oh my god, game changer. Game changer. Never thought it, but, well, oh yes, I did think it, but because everybody was talking about it. So I asked my parents, my brother, if they could gift me that for Christmas, because they're not doing Christmas presents anymore. So I was so happy. Why am I out of focus? Anyway, so those were, I was going to show, yeah, those are my bits. Good. I have some finishes. Now, don't quite know how to do finishes. Okay, I'll insert a clip here. Okay, I guess I have to tape this because this is a Christmas present for a friend who watches my floss tubes. So I just have to wait and fit this into one of my floss tubes probably at the beginning of the new year, as it's going to be a Christmas present. This is a Ravaris kit, and it's meant to be like just in one colour, as you can see. But I stitch nearly everything that I stitch on cream coloured 18 count Aida, and I thought, okay, I need to change that up a bit. So I received fabric from a friend, from formerly Scottish Stitcher, now Alba Stitcher on Instagram and on Flosstube. She hasn't got a Flosstube, but she comments a lot, so you might know her from there. This is from the Crafty Kitten, Midnight Skies, and it's 18 count Aida. For me it was a bit difficult because the starch of the Aida is of course lost when you hand dye fabric, so it wasn't very easy as it is. Usually I just roll up what I don't need, and then I stitch and hold the roll in my hand. But I couldn't do it this time, so, but that's okay. I finished it today. Today is, oops, needle mind is clashing. I'm sorry, yeah. I think the date is the 10th of October. I finished it on the 10th of October of 2020. I will not tell you when I started, because it's embarrassing. Anyway, this is going to be a giveaway once I've shown this clip. And the giveaway is for the pattern. I started marking the pattern with a yellow highlighter, but could remove most of it. So you can see everything. It's not really, it's just slightly used. But you can, it's like a new pattern. And I'm also going to give the charm. The charm would go on a pattern, as you can see there, but because this is going from Switzerland to California and the post office is not reliable, and this, I don't know what it'll do with this if I attach it to the fabric. It might rip it off, it might, I don't know. So I'm not going to attach this. I'm going to leave it with the kit, with the pattern, it's not a kit, with the pattern, and you'll receive this so you can use it as intended. So let's see what I've stitched. This is my finish and I'm actually quite happy. I can't tell you how long it's taken me to stitch this. I'm a very slow stitcher. It also took me lots of time to sort of work out. I knew that this would be the background, that I would use this fabric, just because I think she'll like it. She also likes pink, which I do not. This is a Chaudhry Designs floss that I used. I think it was a gift or a giveaway that I won. Anyway, so I used that, and I tried using it so that it's not got lines in it, but I don't like stitching words. I don't enjoy it. And these were not even, I mean, they go up and down, and there's the line of, it's sort of 4 pieces of paper, and it goes through and you can't really find where you need to go. So it wasn't easy. Let's just say it wasn't easy. And then it's pink, and like I say, I don't like pink, so, but I think it turned out okay. Even if it has stripes in there, I guess it doesn't really matter. And then you just stitch the cat, which I think is very well made, the way that it's not filled in, but you can see immediately what it is. So now she just has to receive it and like it. I'm going to put my initials somewhere and a date, and I have no idea how I'm going to fully finish it. I might just leave it as is and let her frame it because, like I said, post office, mailing stuff, not easy. So this I could just basically fold up and put in an envelope, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, so I'll do the giveaway once I've shown this on my Flosstube. Okay, as you can guess, it went to Shelley. I think she showed it, I don't know, can't remember. Mr.XStitch. Go and check her out, she's under 1,000 subscribers. Anyway, as promised, this is the revolve race. It's just a chart, as you can sort of see there. And it's got the little charm to go with it. So, you know all the rules. You have to be 18 so you can give me your address. I'll ship anywhere in the world because, yeah, even though COVID is still active, it's gone a bit easier for me to send stuff out. I'll ship this anywhere in the world. Just say something with home, because it's home. A home is not complete without a cat. So use the word home. And yeah, I'll draw the winner in my next Flosstube. I do hope to do Flosstubes on a regular basis. I don't know when, but we'll see. So if you want this, you know what to do. Good. Yeah, my whips. No, my finishes. Finishes, yeah. One of the finishes is wrong side. Sorry, not used to this. This was charted by Park Hopper Bart, Bar Humbug. I enjoyed stitching this. That was fun because, yeah, but Bar Humbug. This is a blackbird design. Rose Garden. I got this from Albert Stitcher. I think it was a birthday present or something, and I stitched it up, and it's actually straight in the frame even though it doesn't look like it. I really enjoyed this. Messed up quite a bit in the border and had to rip it out again. Well, it worked out. There you go. I had, yeah, this was, mess, darn. Thistle Manor. I got this little pattern from Candice, Slob Lover Stitches, and she also gave me the thread that goes with it. Fancy floss, fancy floss. I enjoyed stitching this. This was fun, as was the other blackbird design there. So that's also finished. I finished this just the other day. This was like a small tiny little kit that a friend of mine got, and she finished it, so I had to choose my own threads because it actually doesn't give DMC colours, it just writes brown, dark brown, cream, ugh. Anyway, so there would be some sort of border going around it. I decided not to stitch that. So, finish! Yay! This is from Stone Street Stitchworks, where it says SNOW, I think. I left off the letters because I'm going to send this to Shelley and she's going to make it into an ornament for her mum. And it's in étoile, so it's nice and sparkly, not that you can see. Anyway, not a finish. Yay! Yeah, this is the finish that I was just talking about. This is the one that goes with antique cups and spoons. This is antique keys and locks. And I used this sulky. and this is 18 count cream Ada. And as you can see, well, actually you can't really see it, but the coverage, lots of people say that sulky coverage is like 2 strands of DMC, or maybe 1.5 strands of DMC. To me it's not. To me it's like 1 strand of DMC, and when I stitch on 18 count I use two strands, always, because the coverage is not as good as I would like. It's okay, you know, when you have like something just like a key, it'll work, but yeah, if you have something that you fill in like that, it's just not good enough. It just isn't good enough. I don't think you can really see that on here, but you can see it on pictures that I've taken. But I'm continuing because I'm doing the 3 the same, so they'll all be done in sulky, even though I'm not really happy about it. But I have an idea how to finish them. Yes, I have an idea how to finish them and not frame them, so who knows. Yeah, that's from Shakespeare's Peddler. That's what that looks like. I said that one of the Santas that I've done, this is the one that I did before. This was also a Sal with Mr.XStitch, and I finished mine. I changed colours a bit because all the snow down here, including the snowman, was green, and that just doesn't work for me. So I had to change. I also had to switch out colours because I didn't have colours during COVID, so I had to use what I had. But I'm quite happy with that. I stitched this. This is from Teresa Kogut, and it's for Eve. I'll have to show you the finished one here. Yeah, because that was last year in August. It was my dad's 70th birthday, so I stitched that for him because I thought he would quite like that. So that's been gifted. Something that's also been gifted that I did was this is River Drift House, and this is a Cornwall sampler. I hate stitching samplers because my brother and his girlfriend were going to go to Cornwall last summer during COVID. So as of course they didn't go, I ordered this and I stitched this, and I got it just ready for Christmas to gift to them. They've now got a refund for the Eurostar that they have to use up until I don't know when, so I don't know what they're going to do, but I finished it and I'll show that here. And then my first Pattern Keeper project was not full coverage, but it's a freebie from RTC, and you can't really see, but it's on hand dyed fabric. It's a sort of pale, sort of pinky cream colour, and I used 310, and there are a lot of stitches in this. You wouldn't believe, a lot of stitches, but I'm quite happy with the outcome. I need to frame it, put it up, but I wanted to show you first. And this was my first Pattern Keeper project, like I said, because it's an RTC, and RTC is compatible with Pattern Keeper. Now I have 2 more finishes. One of them was for Caterpillar Cross Stitch. She asked if you would do something like a name or something on. So I designed that myself. I stitched it myself. I sent it, and I know she got it because she showed it on Instagram stories, and then I never heard of it again. So I think it was put together as a quilt, but I have no idea. Don't know what happened with it, and I'm a bit disappointed, but I'll show you that here. And then one of my Flosstube friends, Caitlin from Big Apple Stitcher in New York. She became a mom, yay, in September, which of course is a very good month to sort of be a baby. And I just knew she was saying that she wants to do the nursery in sort of old-fashioned diner, ice cream parlour sort of thing. So I took a few charts, mixed them together, put some étoiles in there to make it sparkly, and this is what came out. Yeah, I sort of mounted it on canvas, but it was just a flat canvas, and I stuck the other one with a pin on there, and I know she got it, and yeah, I think that's more or less yeah, I think that's more or less everything that I stitched in these 1.5 years that I can remember or that I can show. I know Mr.XStitch has something going on, but he is not answering questions. He's also, from reading, I don't know what he wants from me as a stitcher to stitch in a 6-inch hoop. And it's now June, and I don't do very well with time limits, because I would have to design or pick from different designs and stitch it, and it needs to go up on the 27th of August, and I'm going to go and watch football for a month, so no stitching during football. I can't stitch during football because you can't count, and I don't want beer dropped over it, and yeah, people who watch football like me, public viewing, they know you cannot stitch while watching football. So I then would have maybe 1 month time to stitch something, and I don't do well. I do well under pressure at work. I'm organised at work, I'm organised in life. I hardly ever miss an appointment. I'm there early. I'm organised, I have what I need, I have all the documents and everything. When it comes to cross stitching, organisation goes out the window. I mean, I've been stitching now for a few years. I have quite a lot of stash, and only in the last few weeks did I actually manage to put that stash into the right boxes and get it organised. My floss is still not organised, but at least I've got all my fabric. I've got so much fabric, cross stitch fabric. I didn't even know. But now that's all done, you know, it's sort of, So, but I still can't, if he gives me the deadline of a certain date that he needs it by, because he still has to put it in a hoop, and he still hasn't given me the information that I need of what he actually wants from me, I cannot do it. I want to do it because I enjoyed doing the baubles for the Christmas tree at Standon House, even though I only made one. But I could start sometime in February, finished it sometime in June, I think, and sent it off in July, and it was for Christmas. But this came out on the 1st of April, and he was moving, like they were moving house, and he hasn't really come back yet. So yeah, I'm a bit lost in that one. Let's see. Yeah, I told you before, I won a few things from a few people. I won a Teresa Wenzler from Day Before Michelle. Day Before Michelle, she had a Flosstube and an Etsy shop, and she disappeared. I know that I ordered I think 2 project bags from her, from her shop. Then found out that she had a Flosstube, started watching, and won a Teresa Wenzler, and she's disappeared. No Etsy shop, no Flosstubes. Don't know where she went. Yeah, that was a bit strange. Let's see. Haul, like I said, I bought, as most people did during lockdown, buying, because what do? You eat, you buy. You eat, you sleep, you watch TV, you stitch. My stitchy bug was gone for some time, so you buy. But it's all put away and you get spared that. I was going to do a tutorial on, just a short tutorial, you know, sort of 5-minute thingy on how I use counting pins, because I do, yeah, no, can't reach them. I have a lot of counting pins and I love counting pins and they really help me. I don't grid my fabric. Most people grid their fabric for full coverage, but I've also seen lots of people grid their fabric for just normal pieces, not full coverage pieces. I use counting pins for that. So let me know if you would like to see how I use my counting pins and I'll put that up sometime. If nobody wants it, then that's fine by me. Yeah, then let's see, what have we got. We've got yeah, the Under 1000 Soft Club that was put into life by Link is my homeboy, Kerry and Stitches, and Sarah, our Stitching Kingdom. And Kerry has graduated. She's reached over 1,000 subscribers, so well done, Kerry. That, I think that was really, I mean, you earned that a long time ago. You put out so many floss tubes on such a regular basis, with so many fantastic things like the mini biscornius that you did, and it was just, yeah, I don't know why you didn't reach 1,000 before that. Also, Link is my homeboy. I subscribed, watched, then didn't watch, then watched again, then didn't watch. I'm watching now again, okay? As she knows, because we've been talking about the green wall behind her. So yeah, I also watched our Stitching Kingdom, but I don't know if my notifications are not working, but I haven't seen her in some time, and I know she's putting floss tubes out there, so I need to check that. I would like to add Lisa Loves Stitching to that. She's from Australia. She does crochet and knit. They've recently got 2 puppies, and her cat, Miss Pearl, has recently died, unfortunately. But she was very old, a very grande dame, if you want. She had a really nice life, and she's going to be missed, because Miss Pearl is somebody she introduced me to quite early on, because me and Lisa, we talk, and I just, yeah, I don't know the puppies. She's shown me so many videos of the puppies, but somehow I have the feeling that I know Miss Pearl, and she's gone, but she lived a long life. So anyway, that's not why. Lisa Loves Stitching is actually quite funny. She'll show you some interesting birds that come, she can feed them, other animals, because Australia is full of different animals than we have. She'll talk about them. It's interesting, and she'll show you sometimes, you know, where they go when they have an outing. They'll go to the beach, they do stuff, and she sometimes just adds it onto her floss tubes, and I really enjoy that. Somebody who was gone for some time, and I just saw one of her floss tubes yesterday, One Stitch at a Time, and I'm disgraced. She only has 84 subscribers. 84 subscribers. And she even did a giveaway. I mean, I think 4 giveaways or 5 giveaways. You know, she's been on Flosstube, I know that, and then she stopped, but she came back, and then she did all these giveaways, and people that I also know and watch have won. So people must watch her, but she has 84 subscribers. I mean, at least Finding Judy, oh, I was so happy to see, because there's this group in Facebook called Flosstube, don't know. And I mentioned there because Finding Judy, she was sitting there and she said, you know, my goal this year is to reach 100 subscribers. And she was at about 80. And she's been on 80 since the start. And I can't believe it, because she's in San Francisco, just near San Francisco. She could walk to the bakery, Elena's bakery. She could go and say hi to Elena. Olivia B is there, and that group is there. But because of COVID, of course, you don't go to a bakery. You don't go and say, "Hi Elena, it's me, I cross stitch." So she said her goal is to reach 100 subscribers. So I put her information in there and said, "Hey guys, please give her some love. She wants 100 subscribers," and now she's over 100. I think she has 150 or even more. She was so surprised, and she was also mentioned in this Under 1,000 Subs Club. So I'm happy about that, because I find she's entertaining, and people who don't take cross stitch too seriously, they're fantastic. I love people like that. Vicky, Tyron, Shelley, Audrey, you know who you are, you group of fantastic, amazing people out there who do not take cross stitch as seriously as others. And I hate stitching samplers. That doesn't mean that I don't like seeing samplers or samplers being stitched. I hate stitching samplers, so just putting that out there. Just yeah. Then please go and give some love to Boo's Mom 11. That's BOOS Mom 11. Apparently she's changed her name a few times. She's up in Scotland, and she's Boo's mom. Boo is cat. She has lots of interesting projects. She does heights, mirabilias, and I actually won Autumn Queen from her. Oh my god! Now I just need Spring Queen, and then I have the mirabilias that I really need. Not that I'm actually stitching them at the moment, but you know how it is. I would also like to mention Tess Stitches. That's Tess with 2 S stitches, because she's stitching a massive height that she divided into pieces, and she's now on a second piece and she's nearly finished, and the thing is called Haystack, and it's basically purple. So purple, I mean, you had me at purple. Purple? Go and watch her. She said she's going to start a project that has the size fabric of a queen size bed. I don't know how she's going to do it. She said something about a Lowry stand on one side and the other side, and then I have no idea. But oh my god, she really is. She stitches just amazing. And then of course my friend Amanda, I was stitcher, but she's over 1,000. So just go by and say hello. And if you like a Scottish accent, just don't forget. Yeah, just sort of as a bit of an information thingy during the whole knowing that my job ends on the 31st of December of 2019, well, it ended before that, and then going from interview to interview to interview, not getting a job, and then COVID hit, and my stitchy bug left, and COVID hit, did I mention that? And political stuff all over the world, US mainly, but all over the world, and I couldn't face going onto Instagram, being in full lockdown. I live alone. I'm a woman. I live alone. I have no friends because I can't leave the flat without a car, and even then I can't go very far. I don't work because I haven't got a job. It's not that I don't want to, I haven't got a job. I'm in lockdown alone. I don't cook for myself because what a waste. I put on so much weight during COVID because loneliness and not knowing what's happening. It was less, I was not really frightened or anxious about COVID because I knew how to deal with COVID. Wear a mask, wash your hands. But I've been alone in this flat for so long. I can't stand this flat anymore. And then going onto Flosstube, onto Instagram mainly. It was mainly Instagram. Go onto Instagram at the beginning of COVID when I'm in lockdown and people are scared of other people. So you walk, you you walk and somebody comes towards you, you're both wearing masks. But because people call it social distancing, people will not look at you and they won't say good morning. In Switzerland, everybody says Grüezi, or Gott grüße Sie, or Guten Morgen, Guten Mittag, Guten Abend, Adiminant. Nothing. They look away. Social distancing. People were looking away. You can't see people smile. They did social distancing and not physical distancing, which it actually should be. And going onto Instagram and seeing people having their family over, flying places, going to retreats, going to protest. I mean, everybody should protest. Please don't stop protesting. But please, when you protest, wear a mask. Please wear a mask. There are so many things that I couldn't understand people are doing. And also being attacked for not speaking out about Black Lives Matter. I talk about Black Lives Matter one-to-one. Hang on, my webcam. Sorry about that. I think my webcam was not happy with that. Yeah, just I talk politics, I talk history, I talk racism, I talk about anything, pretty much anything. And I would actually love to talk person to person about so many things. I consider myself pretty well educated, interested in other people's opinions, and I'm not stubborn. Well, yes, I am stubborn, but if somebody comes along and says, you know, I drive a bike, and when I come along here, I have these and these issues. And I go like, I never actually thought about that, because when I come with my car, I'll have these and these issues. But now that you say it, that makes sense. We need to have somehow work together to get this working so that it works for you as a bike driver and me as a car driver, and that the pedestrians also don't get left out. So getting somebody else's opinion is interesting. It broadens my horizon. Now that doesn't mean that I want to go and discuss Hitler and whatever with a neo-Nazi, but I'm open to discussions. I would like to discuss, but I'm not going to do that on social media. I have a closed account. I have 2 closed Instagram accounts because I want those to be cross-stitch. I want my cross-stitch account to be cross-stitch and not politics. My private account is a bit different. I now also take part, I have a non-political one for a group that I'm in. So me going onto Instagram and then being called out for, if you don't voice your opinion and if you don't talk about Black Lives Matter, you're part of the problem, is not true. Because in Switzerland, we have racial problems, but it's not Black Lives Matter. It's not the same. And if you want to discuss that with me, I'll happily discuss it with you, but not on social media. That's never going to happen. I'm not going to do that. Even now, with politics, we're voting next weekend. Pretty hefty voting. I'm not going to put out there how I'm voting. That's mine. If people are interested, you can come and talk to me. But I'm not going to put it out on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or wherever. I just wanted to put that out there so that you know why I was not on Instagram last year, and I'm not really on Instagram this year either, because there's so many things on there that upset me. and my mental health is more important than everything else. Anyway, I think that's it. I don't know how long this shenanigans went on now. I'm really sorry. I could have talked even longer. If I would have shown haul, you would still be sitting here in 5 hours time. So please like, subscribe, do all the things, and most importantly, just stitch what you want, when you want, enjoy it. I'm not a competitive stitcher. I don't want to do these online, you know, all these zombie run and magical stitches and counting. I can't count stitches. There is no way I'm counting stitches. Just no. Takes the fun out of it for me. Everybody else, enjoy your stitching. If you join groups, enjoy it. If you don't join groups, enjoy it. Lots of people now during May have decided that having something pre-planned isn't for them. I've known that before, and there was no way that my brain would have done a mania. But I was stitching. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I mean, I'm enjoying this. I'm really enjoying it. So, just that you know, stitching, as long as you're enjoying your stitching, go for it. So, we'll see if it rains tonight. We don't know. And sorry about the whole mess. Not sorry. And just to know, I am Groot. I am Groot. I'm Groot? Sorry. I'm a Vin Diesel fan, so therefore I have to be a fan of the little guy. No, the films are crap, but Groot, yeah. Can you blame me? No. I also bought 3 t-shirts, Rammstein, just that you know, Candice. I needed some Rammstein t-shirts to go with the patch that you made for me. So, yeah, sorry. I'm distracted. I wanted to say, happy stitching everybody. Please make floss tubes. They were such a help during COVID, during lockdown, during whatever, when I needed something. Thank you very much for making floss tubes, whoever is making floss tubes. And thank you very much for people who comment, who just leave an emoji, who just let me know I've watched. And if you like and subscribe, you'll help me. You'll also help yourself by getting more good content on YouTube. So happy stitching everyone. See you hopefully soon. Bye.